Environment. Let's look at the environment that we actually do live in. The world that surrounds the human level is based on exactly the same principle of nature, but it's a completely different order of nature, because the human level is a level of feeling, thoughts, and intentions, and there are laws and forces that work on us that are of that nature. So here is the environment that we find ourselves in. There is a field of influence, and this field of influence is called the Creator. The Creator influences us by means of forces. And these forces are expressed as laws. That is, they're obligatory. They come to us from the Creator, and each one of these is one of 613 forces or laws. These laws are laws of love. They are laws of bestowal. They are intentions towards the creature. Here in that field is the creature, plus the other levels of life below the creature, levels 1, 2, and 3 that we spoke of earlier. Within the creature, there exist like pressure or forces that must equalize with the influence coming from the Creator, and these are called desires. There are 613 desires within the creature, the human level of the creature. And the law of equivalence of form means that the inner desire or pressure must equalize, that is, come to equivalence, form a balance with this desire that is related to this force from the Creator. And to the degree that we are unlike the forces, the 613 actual laws of nature for the human level, to the degree that we are not like it, we and all the levels of life below us suffer. Things go for the worse. To the degree that we equalize, that we succeed in finding equivalence of form and becoming the same thing as the intent behind that law, all of life, including the creature itself, finds a homeostasis. Man, the human level, finds a homeostasis within this field and achieves equivalence with it. Becomes like all of the 613 laws. Now, all of these laws that affect both the levels of life below us and the ones in relation to the man, if the creature can equalize with that, with the law of nature, he is also equalizing with the Creator himself. Because the Kabbalists tell us that the value in gematria between the word for nature, teva in Hebrew, and the word for God, Elohim, is 86, meaning they are the same thing. They apply both to the level of human and to every other level below man. Now, this may seem mechanical. It's a kind of mechanical explanation. But since we, as humans, don't really feel how our inner states affect the levels of life below us, nor really do we have to, all we need to be aware of is our feeling states and how they work in our relationship to the world around us, that is, to people around us, to situations, the situations of our life. And that's what the equalization of the inner pressure of the desire and the outer pressure of a law is really about. We learned that in the story of the guest and the host, that the way in which we can perceive what these laws are and to equalize with them is to be concerned not with the gift, that is, the event itself, but with the giver. What is the thought behind the event and the circumstances that we find ourselves in at any given time, and what is our attitude towards that? It seems like a very difficult thing to do, but that process of how we can sense that already exists in nature, and we merely have to learn to observe that, how that operates, and to do it. Now let's return to the article, The Acting Intelligence by Bala Salam. And as we read this, try to connect to the author's thought and to his feeling, but especially try to connect to the thought and feeling behind why he is expressing this to you. The acting intelligence. I will explain by way of an illustration. We observe that in every deed performed in the world, there adheres and remains in that deed the very mind which performed it, so that in the table we sense the mindful craft of the carpenter and his command of his craft, whether great or small. For at the time of his work he evaluated it with his knowledge and intelligence, so that one who examines that deed and thinks about the mind concealed therein realizes that it is from its inception bound up with the mind that made it. That is, they are in fact unified. We can see in everything that appears in this world that there is a thought behind it. It simply doesn't arise out of nothing. There is, in the world that we see before us, definitely craftsmen behind the objects. And we know from this physical example that the intention, that is the quality of the work, the care, what it is that was intended for our use, can be felt even in the simplest things. It's what we call quality. It is a sensation, not that this is an expensive or simply a beautiful object, but that if you really look at it, what you are sensing is the intention behind that thing. The quality of the mind, the quality of the desire to give an object or a circumstance of beauty to us. And we may look at a physical object and perhaps we will be blinded by its opaque quality. But to the degree that we desire to feel and know and become like that thing behind it, that is, I want to know what my friend's experience was.